Hello everyone, and welcome to Dutchgreybeard. After making my last book haul video, I came across this challenge on Olly: Read What You Own. Olly is currently doing this challenge for the second time. Basically, the challenge is about committing yourself to reading a certain number of books that you already own and not buying any new books in the meantime. Those who follow my channel know that I'm addicted to buying books. This last book haul, I estimated that I'd been buying 9 books each week for the past 6 weeks. I'm not hurting anyone by this, except my own bank account, but it still feels like this challenge is exactly what I need right now. I've been reading and buying books for almost as long as I can remember, which is a long time, as you can tell by the color of my hair. Now, this addiction became even more toxic when I rediscovered the fantasy genre at the beginning of 2023. Lightning struck with the Amazon Prime TV show of The Wheel of Time, and I found myself overlooking the immensely huge and overwhelmingly beautiful landscape of fantasy. I couldn't wait to discover everything. And to add insult to injury, I followed many booktubers who time and again infected me with their enthusiasm about this book, that series, or practically everything this or that author had written. Long story short, my fear of missing out became obsessive. From January 15 of 2023 up until the 8th of March this year, I have bought a total of 283 books. Only 29 of those don't belong to the fantasy genre. When I started reading fantasy, roughly 180 non-fantasy books already sat on my shelves that I really wanted to read, but simply had not yet got around to. Now, 14 months later, this TBR has grown to epic proportions, even after taking about 56 books off these shelves that I decided I was never going to read. In the meantime, I did manage to read 73 books, which means that at the start of this challenge, I own 360 unread books that I desperately want to read. Now, I could set this challenge to all the books on my TBR, 360, but at my slow pace of reading, that would take me about 6 years. Obviously, this challenge can help to get my addiction under control, but making it too steep of a challenge would take the fun out of reading, which is the last thing I want to do. Olly, from Olly, sets his challenge to 100 books. The first time he did it, he reached this goal within 4 months, if I'm not mistaken. Now, the second time around, he's doing it a little bit more leisurely. In my tempo, 100 books will take me 1.5, perhaps even 2 years. That still sounds to me as a killjoy. So, after giving this ample consideration, for my Read What You Own challenge, I commit myself to reading 50 of the books I already own without buying any new physical books or ebooks, which I didn't buy anyway. The only exception I can think of right now is the following. My Audible.com subscription gives me 1 credit each month. That allows me to buy 1 audiobook. It's not an exception really, because this involves nothing physical. And even though my listening to books on audio proceeds at a snail's pace, I wouldn't want to be without an audiobook. I mean, there's no chance I'll run out of physical books to read, but for audio I've only got about 2 in reserve at the moment. And it would just be silly to save up my credits and spend them all at once after this challenge. Apart from that, I will not be buying anything new for as long as these 50 books keep me occupied. Now that I speak it out loud, I'm starting to sweat. The first withdrawal symptom already. So instead of putting a desired book in my shopping basket, I'll put it on my wish list. There are only 119 books on that list at this moment. One of the books that I'm currently reading is White Dragon by Anne McCaffrey, the final book of the first 2 trilogies in the huge series The Dragon Riders of Pern. By the time this video goes live, I'll have finished reading that. From then on, I will start counting in this challenge. I've seen booktubers come up with motivational ideas like money in a jar for each book read during the challenge. Although I like that idea, it somehow undermines the whole idea of reducing one's TBR. I know for a fact that the moment I finish this challenge, the money saved will be spent right away on new books. That is what we call in Dutch mopping with the tap open. Putting money in an imaginary jar with every book I've read is a good idea. Only that money won't be for myself, but I will donate it to a charity. The question is, how much money will I put in that jar? These last 14 months, I spent roughly €200 on books each month. Since I still have to work for my money and I wasn't born rich, unfortunately, I'll make it a bit more financially manageable for myself. Each month this challenge will take me, I'll donate €50 into an imaginary jar. The donation to charity at the end of this challenge will not be imaginary, of course. There are 3 charities that I care about. They are the Ocean Cleanup, War Child and the local food bank. We don't have to decide right now. As this challenge commences, I'll get back to this issue. Perhaps one of you can convince me to donate to another charity. At the end, I'll issue a vote on which charity will get whatever money is in the jar. Which 50 books I'll be reading during this challenge is hard to predict. Perhaps my video on my reading plans for 2024 gives you some idea of the books I will likely be picking up. I'll keep you posted on my progress and how bad my withdrawal symptoms become. Thank you very much for watching this video. Until we meet again at Dutchgreybeard.